Hello everybody, Candy Cane Cooper here, International Animal Communicator, and welcome to my live Facebook video blog number 7. And yes, we have Casey with us again. She is back by popular demand. Everybody wanted to say hello to her, and just wanted to let you know that her surgery went really well. Hi Susan. She is now less 7 more teeth, but she's doing great. Hi, Nevi. And she's eating very healthy, and she's very happy. So say hello to everybody, Quesadilla. Okay, cool. I also wanted to let you know that next week I'm going to be sharing some super exciting news for you. I can't believe it. I'm so hard for me to be quiet about it, but I'll be able to talk about it with you next week. Hi, Dena. And also, I'm going to be giving some really cool animal communication giveaways that'll be part of it. Oh, my sister's on. Hi, Bonnie. Love you. Say hi to Auntie Bonnie, Casey. Okay. Yes, Casey's dingling. Moving forward, let's get right into what we've got going on today with our questions. Okay, your number 1 fan, Casey. Timo wants to say hi. Okay, I think I'm just going to make my video blogs all about Casey. What do you guys think? That's fine with me. I have lots to talk about with her. Hi, Brandy. So last night, I was having my therapy session with my therapist. And of course, I always talk about my work because I need somebody to release my day with. And I was telling her, again, how everyone's been having so many issues right now with the pandemic, but that everybody is also very grateful for their animals. So I just want to make sure that you take a minute every day right now and let your animals know how much they mean to you and what important role they play in your everyday life. All the time, but now, especially more than ever, I know we're all leaning on them and loving them, and they're taking a lot of our energy, our nervousness, our anxieties. So just remember that if they're acting a little strange, a little freaky, unusual, because I'm getting a lot of this in all my sessions right now. I know I've been saying this for the last few weeks. Just remember that you could be contributing to that with your emotions, and also explain to them again that they will be safe and that you are doing everything to keep yourself safe as well, okay? Hi, Emily. How you doing, honey? Emily's taking care of a beautiful little baby cow right now, Eloise, and we send prayers out to Eloise. Oh, my brother-in-law Phil's on. Hi, Phil. Nice to see you here with me. So anyway, again, let's get into it. Let's start with our first question for today. And don't forget to chime in live if you want. I'm reading right now online as you're typing. Okay? I do my best to multitask here. Casey, I gotta teach you to read like jazz so you can spell out the questions for me. What do you think? Are you not interested? Okay, she's not interested. All right, our first question today comes from a YouTube channel from, I'm going to say her name wrong, Daiha? I'm not sure. But anyway, she wants to know, she says, I really love your videos on YouTube. You seem very sweet and I love what you do. As a vegan, I love that you are helping the animals. I have always loved animals and I dream of communicating with them the way that you do. Do you have any tips that would help me to improve my telepathy skills? Do you think it would ever be possible to hear them like you do? Thanks. Okay. Hi, Nora. Here we go. The way that I feel about what I do, I was born this way. I do believe that we all have this capability. For some reason, I am just a little more fine-tuned into that frequency where I can actually hear the animals speak, feel what they feel in their body, and also look through their eyes when I do remote viewing. Hi, Rick. Nice to see you here today. So I think it's just like anything else, it's a muscle that you can develop if it isn't just naturally there right in front of you. And with practice, like anything else, building your telepathic skills is just, a matter of time. Hi, Vanessa. Nora, who's watching right now, we've been talking about how she's been progressing every week with her horse Chance, and she's been working through telepathic communication with him instead of just old-fashioned horsemanship, which really wasn't working at all. And I've worked with her horse. He's very smart, and I know that he hears everything that she's saying, and she is also living proof that practice makes perfect, right, Nora? So maybe you might want to put another testimonial on today so this gal off my YouTube page can see that it's part of it all, okay? Basically, to start, I'm going to say start out simple. Hi, Janet. Hi, Maya. Just practice with friends, with cards. Just take some cards and do some games with yourselves where they would take some cards, you would take some cards. Don't show them to each other, pick 1 through 10, and then challenge yourself. Be the sender sometimes, be the receiver sometimes, and play the mental mind games to see if you can actually get the card. It might be, you might hear it, you might see it in your mind. There's many, many, many different ways to receive it through your 6th sense, 7th sense, 8th sense. I really don't know how many senses there are out there. I know there's a lot more than science has even proven at this point. Because honestly, people always ask me, how do you do what you do? I know what I do, but can I exactly explain it 100%? Not really. I can just tell you what it feels like to me and how I accomplish it. Because obviously I'm not a scientist. Okay, so I would say practice, 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 and don't give up. Again, we all have these capabilities. Just some of us start out a little bit further ahead of the curve, okay? All right. Hi, Victor. Maya, I'm glad you made it. I know it's pretty late there in Israel, and I know you're watching your beautiful little cat that you're taking care of today. So what does she say? Some animals are bound to live in human ways, for example, arts and people so walk on them and then send them to the other, I'm sure you're going to say to the other side. Yes, yes, it is very sad that we abuse and use our animal brother and sisters like that for our benefit. Last video we talked about why do we feel that we have this right as humans? Why do we feel that we are better than the animals? That is the million-dollar question. And again, that leads you down to the road to obviously, being vegan and all that other stuff that comes with it. So always ponder that question. When you're dealing with others, if you see animal cruelty, report it always. Don't hesitate, because that animal needs you. Always, always needs you. Hey, Dean. Nice to see you with us today. Casey, say hi to Dean. Dean's watching. Okay. Question number 2. Oh, wait. Nora's giving us a report on Chance. Today, Chance cut his knee getting up. Oh. I'm glad you're still working with him, Nora. Keep up the good work. Just keep it up, okay? Hi, Patty. All right, question number 2. Annette from Georgia says she's recently divorced and feels like it has really affected her dog. He seems depressed, he's not eating, and he's moping around the house. She also questions, did she make the right decision in taking her dog away 100% from her ex? Yeah, that's a good question. And any of us who have been involved in a breakup or separation of any type, hi Reginald, glad you could join us, where animals are involved, it's very difficult. It's just like your child. And you really, really, really have to consider, their emotions, what's going to be best for them. I know you might do it out of anger sometimes. You want to just take everything away from the other person, especially in a very, heated separation, which I'm sure some of you have been through. I know I have been through several of them, unfortunately. But really, you have to look at what's going to be best. It sounds like maybe Net's dog was more attached to her husband than her, and maybe she decided to take the dog away out of anger, and now the dog is very depressed. Well, you can rectify that by, visits, shared custody, or just making the right decision from the very beginning. Again, try to take yourself out of the equation, which is hard. I know it's very hard, especially, when you're in the middle of a breakup or a divorce. All emotions are flying high, but think about down the road how it's going to affect the animals that you guys shared, okay? It's very, very important, because her little dog might not recover and not understand why all of a sudden she doesn't get to see Daddy anymore. Hi, Morgan. Nice to see you. Dylan, hi, honey. Oh, wow, everybody's on today. This is great. And then this also applies to, which circles me back around, a new person comes into your life, into your relationship. Maybe that person doesn't really care for your animal that much, or feel about the animals the same way you do, or maybe your animal doesn't like the new person. Well, okay, first off, if your animal doesn't like your new partner, you should really consider what the reasons are and look into that, because they are so much more in touch with the natural vibrations of the universe, and they might have something to tell you. I read a lot for people when they get in a relationship and they want to know the whole scoop from the other side, from their animal's perspective. They have a lot to share. By the same token, if that person just doesn't like your pet, you might want to think about, is this the right kind of person for me? Hi, Eric. How you doing, honey? Because it can cause problems down the road. And I get this a lot, where the animal's used to sleeping in the bed, and then the new partner is like, oh, that's just dirty and disgusting, and I can't sleep with you if your animal, blah, blah, or whatever, pet, goat, dog, cat, is in the bed. That's going to be a big problem for you. So just look at it again. Long vision. I know it's hard when the relationship is new and we don't want to think about the bad things, but red flag, red flag, red flag, okay? All right, just remember that. Let's see. Angela says, Angela from Pittsburgh. Thank you, Angela. She says, sometimes my cat just stares at me and I feel like he's judging me. It feels really creepy, like he's in my head. Am I just crazy or what? Oh, wait, what did Mark say? My boy is a lover, but he hates my neighbor really bad. Oh, well, how do you feel about your neighbor, Mark? Do you not like your neighbor? Maybe there's something about your neighbor you don't know. You know, they always say on the news, after they go on a shootout and kill a bunch of people, but he was such a nice, quiet neighbor. I don't know. Maybe double check what is going on behind closed doors at your neighbor's house, okay? Anyway, getting back to Angela's question, that it creeps her out that her cat just stares at her and is judging her. Yes, I'm sure he is, because the animals are always reading your mind. Hi, Donna. See, he is a weird dude. I told you, Mark, so your animal knows. Maybe, Angela, you might have some things that you're keeping from your cat and you feel guilty. Okay, so that could be why it's creeping you out, because you just aren't being 100% honest. And that's another thing to remember, to always be honest with your animals, because whether you think you're telling them the truth or not, they always know, right? They do. They hear every thought that's going on in your mind, much more than when you're speaking. Speaking just kind of, it's like white noise most of the time. So that's why I always say use your mind. All right, let's move on to Dena in Palm Springs. What does Dena say? Dena says, about a month ago, I adopted a mini mule, and sometimes she is the sweetest thing, but once in a while she overreacts and tries to bite me. What can I do to help her feel safe with me? Okay, that's a good question. And again, I feel that this is probably PTSD related, especially being that she was a rescue. Right, Casey? We know all about that in biting, don't we? Yes, we do. Remember when you used to bite everybody? I know you still do a little bit. Consistency, consistency, consistency is what you need to do. Donna, make her feel safe and go very, very slowly, because being that you don't know her past, you might not know what could trigger her. I'm going to set Casey down for a second. Okay. Comanche, do you want to come in? Didn't introduce you to my other Chihuahua. No, he doesn't want to come in right now. Okay. Anyway, so yes, you have to be very, very careful, because again, there might be all kinds of triggers that you're not aware of, and it seems like she's very sweet, like you said, which is beautiful. You want to, nurture that side of her. And then you might want to keep a journal of just the littlest things. And I know all of us that have animals have noticed this, especially those of us that deal with large animals, okay? So keep a little journal of anything that you might do that might trigger her, just so you can study it and remember, well, let's work on that part slowly, dissect it. What else can I do as an alternative so I don't trigger her PTSD? And always be safe. And sorry, the one thing you always want to do when you're working with the animals is never, ever, ever be in a rush. Oh, here's my big boy. Come here. And I want to introduce everybody to my other puppy. This is Comanche, and he is 17, believe it or not. And he is a wild and crazy guy, aren't you, Cheech? Yes, nicknamed Cheech, but also Comanche. Okay, so we give him some camera time too. All right. Let's see. Donna says, do animals feel jealous of each other? For example, if you're giving them one and the others feel slighted. Yes, they do. They do feel jealousy. And they do know when they're the special one. And I always get a laugh out of it when I'm in session, because the human caretaker will say, oh, they know, they're my favorite. Well, of course they know. So you have to balance it out, Donna. And I know you have tons of animals at your beautiful rescue. So that's a lot of energy to work with. But if anybody can handle it, I know that that's you. You got this. You have totally got this, girl. But yes, jealousy is right there. They have all the emotions we have. And I'm going to say probably a few more, because they're 100% raw and in touch with everything. There's no ego like we have. So there's no real hidden agenda. So what you see is what it is, and that's what you're going to get always. And I know that all of you know that. Okay, let's see. Next question is from Jeannie in Florida. And she says she sent her horse away for some training, and now she has even worse habits than before. I'm devastated, I'm exhausted, and I'm full of guilt, and I'm just wondering, does she hate me now for sending her away? Yeah, well, that's a lot going on there, and unfortunately, this happens a lot of times where you think you're doing something really nice for your animal and you put them in the wrong hands. I can honestly say, knock on wood, I have an assortment of amazing trainers, large animals and small animals, that I work with my clients. I'm very, very lucky to know these people that are in this industry, putting not only their hands on to these animals at a very vulnerable stage, molding them into the future of what they're going to be. But like any other business, there's always some bad people out there that don't know what they're doing, maybe intentionally and unintentionally, and they hurt our animals seriously. I know even my sister, I know she's watching. had two very nice bulldogs that were sent for training, and when they came back, they attacked her. She almost died. They attacked her right in her house because the mind just snapped from this guy, from the way he had been abusing them while they were there. And of course, a lot of these trainers like to take your animal away out of sight from you. So number one thing is, I'm going to say to protect yourself on the front end, make sure that you're allowed to visit your animal while it's at training, because you've got to check in. And if you want a full detail report, have a little session with me and we can get the whole scoop, the back scoop, so you don't have to worry. Because also sometimes things on the front aren't exactly how they seem, which we all know. I'm sure, Annette, that you have a lot of guilt for what you did. I know that your horse knows you didn't do it on purpose, but you're going to have to work through this now. And again, I'm going to say the same tools as with the gal with the rescue little mule. You have to go very, very slow now. Start from ground zero, phase one, when you first got your horse. And again, consistency, consistency. Build off that very basic foundation when you first took your horse in, and then develop it from there. Maybe find another humane trainer, or maybe just try to do it yourself slowly if you're capable. If you're not, don't take a risk, because you're dealing with a large 1,000-pound or more animal, which can be dangerous. But you'll know what feels right. And as time goes on and you see your girl start to relax back into her groove at home with you, I'm sure that you're going to feel less guilty. It's okay to feel guilty. I mean, you did it, but you know what? You didn't mean to. So that happens. And speaking of that, let's address that for a few minutes. The issue of guilt with our animals. Let me just have a sip of water. Have a little bit of my allergies, sorry. Hi, Sandra. Thank you for joining us today. When you're dealing with these issues of guilt about your animals, for whatever reason, could be like this, sending them away to a bad trainer. We had somebody last week, the animal she felt was showing signs that it needed to help, that it was in pain, and she didn't hear it. Again, today, separating them from your partner in a separation or divorce, and then the animals feeling depressed and lonely, putting too much pressure on your animal for your own reasons, your own stresses and all of that. Any one of these can affect your animal in that way. So when you're trying to work through your guilt, just go right to the heart of it. Be very honest with yourself and just dissect it piece by piece. And I'm sure once you explain it to your pet, they might not forgive you right away, because again, like I always say, it's not unconditional, but they are very open and loving. And I know you all know that. So keep that most in mind. Let's see, what are you saying? We can't let our family dog out of the cage because whenever she's out, she tends to go all crazy. Okay, it started when she was younger. Okay, yes. Well, speaking of training, I deal with this a lot. My dog is very well trained, does everything I say. Actually, that was one of my next questions here. I can't believe you just asked that. That was perfect. But sometimes you let them out, they look right at you, you call them, and then they run away. Okay, why is that? Why do they do that? If they're so trained and they're so in tune with you, why are they running the other direction? And you feel all embarrassed, you're at the dog park and your dog's running away from you. Well, I have to tell you something. It's just like you and I. Hi, Leslie. Glad you're here today. Some of them are in that teenage mode where they just are defiant. And it doesn't matter how much training they have or how good they are 98% of the time. Just once in a while, they're just going to be like, you know what? talk to the paw. I'm out of here. I'm doing my own thing. Really, that's all it is. You can't take it so much to the heart and feel like they're, disregarding your perspective. Now, I know sometimes this can be dangerous, and in that situation, that's a whole different, stage that it's presented itself on. But if it's just at the dog park or whatever, or in the front yard, and it's safe, and they're not listening to you, I wouldn't take it so bad. It's not that serious. Like I said, they just might outgrow it. It's just like your child throwing a little tantrum, throwing the bottle on the floor, or your teenager, just staying out past curfew, just kind of testing a little bit, pushing the parameters of what's going on. And I see that this happens a lot if an animal has an excessive amount of training. Hey Danielle, hey Brittany, my little sister-in-law. Hi, beautiful. Yeah, sometimes an animal can be overtrained. Hey Brittany. Had a nice session last week with a client of mine who, she herself is a very well-known fitness trainer. So she's all about, training and schedule and all of that. Hi, Claire. And she started laughing when I said to her, take your dog out of training right now. He's just too young. He's only 2. Now, some 2-year-olds can be in training, but this particular pup that she has is very immature mentally, and I could tell when we were in session by the way he was putting his words together and talking to me about what was going on in his life. He just really wasn't ready and couldn't grasp anything that they were trying to teach him. Because she's saying to me, she's frustrated because she's such a good trainer and she's diligent and she's like, drill sergeant with her humans, which is fine. They pay money for that. And they want to be, I'm not going to say tortured, but they want to be, in a regiment, very, very strict box that they work out of with her. But your animals, this one in particular had a different flow, and he's very young. So you just can't sometimes force it if the animal's just not ready mentally or emotionally. So also consider that if you're having some issues getting your animal trained, or even when you're working with your animal. Again, though, there's some animals that are unbelievable at 2 years old that can learn incredible things, and each one is their own individual. I know I keep repeating that. Let's see, what does Leslie say? I have heard that cats and dogs have the emotional age capacity of humans around age 3 and cats 5. Yeah, I've heard that same thing. Not true. Not true. Very different. Some of them are very old and wise, maybe like your great-grandmother, and some of them are very infantile, like we just talked about. Each one is different. It doesn't cut off at 3 and 5 years old. I know people say some pigs are as smart as a human. I think it's a 5-year-old. Well, yeah, they are, and smarter. I know some of you may have seen those videos, hi Jennifer, of the pigs doing crossword puzzles and putting all kinds of things together and doing mazes, and it's incredible. My horse, Jasmine, which I know some of you have seen my videos on my YouTube channel, I started out with her very young, hi Daryl, teaching her colors with cue cards and stuff, flashcards, even when she was a baby. And she knows all the colors of the rainbow like this. Now, she's 11, of course, and now I'm challenging her by teaching her the alphabet. She can spell a few words. I'm working on her learning to put sentences together for my next big video. That's going to be very, very exciting. You're welcome, Leslie. Yeah, that confuses me too when I see this, that they just want to, like, I don't know why us humans want to put the animals in these little boxes. What we do it with ourselves, with different ethnicities. Our racism, this ethnicity does that, this ethnicity does this, and we do the same things with the animals. Cats are as smart as a 3-year-old, dogs are as smart as a 5-year-old, and again, let's eat the chickens, but oh, why would we eat a dog? That's disgusting, right? So you got to make the connection. It's really all the same, okay? It's really all the same. Hey, Susan, nice to have you with me here today. One of my favorite clients with beautiful, beautiful animals. I was talking about you in my last blog, Susan. I don't know if you saw it, but I was giving you some high praises. I really was, but I didn't mention your name. Now everyone's going to know it's you. Anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed my live blog today. I'm loving sharing all of this with you. Let's see, what is this? Future videos I'll be interested in here. Oh, thank you, Dylan. Of course, yes, I'm gonna keep trying to do this every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And like I said, next week I have some huge, exciting news to share with you, and some free animal communication giveaways. So I know I sound like a, hey, Don Pardo, what do you get? But it's not going to go on a gift certificate. It's going to go directly to you. So I think you're going to be excited about that. So until next week, I hope everybody stays safe. Keep loving the animals. And from me to your house, peace and love. See you next week. Bye-bye.